Welcome to WSAV's Meet the Candidates. I'm John Dowding. Today, we're hearing from Congressman Buddy Carter and his Democratic challenger for the 1st District seat, Joyce Marie Griggs. We start off our conversation with two topics on many voters' minds right now: healthcare and COVID-19.
Healthcare is important to me, and I've witnessed it firsthand, particularly prescription drug pricing, which is something that I've worked diligently on since I've been a member of Congress, and something that we've made great progress on. I was able to pass legislation, the gag clause bill, so that a pharmacist can tell you now that if you just pay for your medication and don't use your insurance, that you could probably get it cheaper. And that's the kind of thing that I've worked to lower prescription drug prices. And there's still ways to go with that. And there's still a lot of things that we need to address in that situation, but making sure that we get as many people covered as we can, making sure that that the insurance is available for them. Now, I'm not a fan of the Affordable Care Act by any stretch of imagination. I think that healthcare decisions should be made between the doctor and the patient, that those are the best healthcare decisions. And I think the Affordable Care Act has taken that away. Want to make sure that we have insurance plans available out there, and that the competitiveness remains in healthcare. You know, the capitalism has worked in our system here in America, in our economy, and it can work in healthcare. That's the way we're going to decrease healthcare prices, is through more transparency and more competition within the healthcare field. I think the best thing for us to do is to get back to a healthcare system that's based on competition and transparency, to get away from the ACA.
The opposing side wants to disband the Affordable Care Act, and it's already been gutted in a lot of ways. But number one, I believe we should expand the Affordable Care Act and get rid of a lot of the regulations, and especially during this time with the pandemic, make it easier for people to get their health care. I am in support of expanding that, especially during this pandemic. Okay, we had open enrollment. I say let's just open the enrollment indefinitely until we get a handle on this pandemic. We need to expand the Affordable Care Act, and particularly, as we've said, in communities of color, the Blacks, the Hispanics, the rural areas, they are suffering tremendously. Those in Congress, they have an insurance plan unlike any other. Okay, so they don't have to worry about health care. They're not, I say, put yourself in the position of the average American, even those that don't even have any health care, those that have health care associated with jobs, and some of their jobs have been disbanded because of the pandemic. Put yourself in that position. We are fighting for the people, not for a party's interest, but for the people. I would say put your partisanism aside and let's look at what's best for the people, and to come up with a good, comprehensive healthcare program for the people. And I will also say, you want to disband the Affordable Care Act. Well, what better program do you have? Show me your better program. I don't think they have one at this point.
I think what the administration did in appointing the task force on January 29th, on cutting off travel to and from China on January 31st, those were good decisions. And the task force has done their best, I think, to contain this. If you look at what this administration has done, I think that you can honestly say that under the circumstances, and considering that we've never faced anything like this before in our lifetime, that they've done a pretty good job. As far as Congress has done, I think that what we've done through the first 3.5 packages of coronavirus relief packages has been simply phenomenal. If you look at the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, that's a program that did not exist 8 months ago. Yet in the 1st Congressional District alone, it has saved over 111,000 jobs. Over 11,000 businesses have received a PPP. That's simply phenomenal. And it has saved many workers, many businesses. It's done what it was supposed to do. And if you look at the other programs that we've had in there, the stimulus and everything that's been in the CARES packages, I think overall we've done a pretty good job. And on the local level, I think that we've done the best we can in the state of Georgia. We've had some spikes here and there, but that's to be expected. But obviously the health portion of it is the most important portion. There's no question about that. And I say that as a pharmacist, I say that as a healthcare professional.
I'll start with the federal level. I would give it an F. This pandemic is a national security situation. It's not just an American problem. This is a global pandemic, and we need to work with other nations and stay a part of the World Health Organization. Unfortunately, our government has failed the American people miserably. On the state level, I would give him an F also. That is unfortunate. Let's say the local level, right here in Savannah. My hat's off to Mayor Johnson. He has done a fantastic job about being proactive with this pandemic. Yes, a lot of people have been upset with him because he closed businesses. He's put in a lot of restrictions, but that was for the protection of the people. I see him as being a great leader. A leader can act in the good time and the bad and make decisions that are best for the people. And I believe Mayor Johnson has made decisions that have been best for the people. Unfortunately, on the federal and state level, it has been about politics. As a matter of fact, it has been about profits over people. That should not be. We can always make money, but we cannot get the lives back. If people die, we can't bring them back. They're dead. But we can always make money. So it has been money over profit. And you know, even the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. We know we need money, okay? But the love of money. And I believe that's what we're seeing here.
When we come back, the candidates will share their perspectives on criminal justice reform and how to strengthen a pandemic-stricken economy. You're watching WSAV's Meet the Candidates. Welcome back. Protests after the death of George Floyd have reignited decades-old discussions about race and criminal justice reform. Floyd was killed in Minneapolis this summer after an officer kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes. I spoke with the candidates about how they want to address calls for police reform.
I do not go along with the violence, the burnings. I do believe we can have peaceful demonstrations, peaceful rallies, peaceful protests, and still accomplish the mission. So I am not for the violence that has occurred, and not just on one side, to a degree on both sides. Racial justice and criminal justice reform is critical. We must have that. There are some laws right now in Congress that's talking about police reform. Some people are talking about disbanding the police. I do not believe we should disband the police. I do believe that we should reform the police, that we should reform the police department. And I say that in this, they should not be allowed to implement certain forms of treatment to those they are arrest. What I would propose is that we develop a national training program for the police departments and also come up with standards. For example, and I know there's already some training standards they have developed, but you know what? We have the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center right down here in our district in Brunswick. We can develop a program there where we can train them, have a national standard where they're trained on police brutality, how to de-escalate it, how to deal with a lot of those that have mental issues.
I'm very proud of the 1st Congressional District and the way that we've handled this situation. You brought up the situation with Ahmaud Arbery, a young man whose life ended way too early. I'm very proud of the public officials, particularly the religious leaders down in that area who said, yes, we need to protest. Yes, we cannot tolerate this and it should not be tolerated. However, they did it in a productive way. You need to have better preparation and make sure that our police, who again, I support 110%, make sure that they are getting the kind of training, the kind of support that they need. Our police they're not serving in that capacity to make money. That's not why they do that. They want to serve our communities, and we are thankful that they serve our communities, and they want to do the right thing. And we need to weed out the bad ones. We need to make sure that our policies are correct. We need to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, community policing, making sure that they understand, that citizens understand that the police are there to help us. Extremism on either side has to be eliminated. It has to go away, whether it's white supremacy or whether it's some of these fringe groups that are Antifa or some of these groups. And Antifa is real. It's not just an idea. It is real. That has no place in our society.
And small businesses continue to struggle because of the pandemic, with many making the difficult decision of closing. Up next, the candidates discuss how they want to help small businesses and provide relief to those in need.
Well, one thing we can do is that we've got 130 billion left in the PPP program that was in the first packages that have already been approved, but the time to apply for it has expired. Speaker Pelosi will not put a bill on the floor that we have that Representative Steve Chabot from Ohio has introduced that would open that up again and allow that $130 billion. And if we need to put more money with it, she will not allow it to be put on the floor. So we have a tool in Congress. It's called a discharge petition. That's a way that we can override the speaker. The speaker's a very powerful position and she controls the agenda. But if we can get enough signatures on this discharge petition, and I've already signed it, we can make sure that that bill does come before the floor and that does come on the floor and comes up for a vote so that we can get that PPP opened up again so that those businesses that are still struggling and still need that assistance, they can have access to it. I think that the coast of Georgia is just a sleeping giant. And once it's unleashed and once the message gets out, what you're going to see happen here economically is going to be phenomenal.
I think we need to redefine what a small business is. You know, they're saying, what was it, 500 or less employees or whatever. And really, if you think about it, to me, that's kind of a big, I've been a small business owner myself, small business. And that's a lot of people. And most of the small business don't have that number of people. They have small business, mom and pop type things, or maybe 5 or 6 employees or 10 employees. Okay, so what can we do? Yes, a lot of them have gone out of business and may never come back. But what can we do? There's monies available at the national level for businesses. Okay, there are grants available. There are loans available. I say, in order to jumpstart the small businesses, yeah, let's give them grants. Let's get them some grants to see if we can get them back. Let's get them the training they need to stay afloat. Let's take care of the people so they can survive, so they can eat, so they can have health care, so they can take care of their family, so they are not evicted. And I said, let's stop this partisan stuff. Democrats and Republicans, let's stop that. And let's take care of the people. Let's stop talking about profits over people. Let's take care of the American people.
And we're only halfway through our discussion, and 2 big topics are on the way: climate change and the future of the Supreme Court. Don't go anywhere. WSAV's Meet the Candidates will be back after the break. WSAV's Meet the Candidates. Both Griggs and Carter have called coastal Georgia home for decades, but have seen the new challenges presented because of climate change. Their thoughts now on how they want to protect our coastline.
Climate change is a serious issue. I believe that we are being impacted by climate change. It is a reality. You don't have to look very far to see that it's a reality. Just look at this recent hurricane season, okay? Climate change is impacting everything. To me, it's a national security issue. It is truly a national security issue, and we need to look at it as such. This offshore drilling, okay, it impacts on a lot of things, and even our marine life. We have a lot of species in Georgia in our marine life that some of them are looking at becoming extinct. And so I think that we need to make sure we put a handle on offshore drilling. And of course, I would consult again with the experts in these respective areas and look at the recommendations that they propose and then push for those recommendations. Okay, and again, we've got a lot of flooding coming in this area.
Would you support the Green New Deal?
Some parts of it I would, okay, as far as environmentally speaking, I think that we need to come up with programs that will, how do I want to say this, that would provide us what we need and also maintain a safe environment. I feel that there gotta be a balance.
We need to make sure that we're pushing for innovation, make sure that we're pushing for renewable energy. When I was a member of the Georgia State Senate over 6 years ago, I was the one who was advocating for solar energy. Look where we're at now. We're one of the top 10 states in the nation for solar energy here in the state of Georgia. I'm very proud of that. And I do believe I do believe in climate change. I believe it is real. And I believe that we've got to do our part. And I believe that the United States has done our part and we continue to do our part. Well, you have to remember that climate change is a global problem. We could become net neutral here in America, but if we don't help India, if we don't help China, if we don't help those countries do what they're supposed to be doing, then it's not going to work. It's not going to help our beautiful planet at all.
The United States removed itself from the Paris Climate Accords. Was that sending the wrong sign to some of those powers like you were talking about, China and Russia, who, like you said, do have a lot of climate issues? There are people who were wearing masks before COVID because the air quality was bad. What does that signal of the U.S. leaving the Paris Climate Accord send to those other countries? Was it the right move?
Well, first of all, make sure we understand the reason that this president got us out of the Paris Climate Accords, and it was a good reason. It's because they were unfair. Am I in favor of us entering into some kind of global agreement? I'd be willing to look at one, but the Paris Climate Accords was not the one that we should have been in. It was unfair. China got a free ride, whereas...
Stay with us. WSAV's Meet the Candidates continues after the break. The passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg sparked controversy over President Trump's decision to fill the vacancy before Election Day. Even though they wouldn't vote on a new justice, I asked the candidates their thoughts about the push to fill the vacancy.
I absolutely agree with the president and his decision to nominate what I think is going to be one of the best justices that we've seen on the Supreme Court in a long time. Amy Coney Barrett has impeccable resume. Her academic and her judicial career have been outstanding, and she will make a great Supreme Court justice. This president was elected for 4 years. He was not elected for 3.5 years. The example that you used back when Barack Obama was president, you had a president in one party and a Senate in another party. That's not the case now. We've got the same party in control of both of those. That's happened 7 times in the past, and 6 of those times they have had a Supreme Court justice nominated, and that should be what happens again now. We've got a great candidate, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I don't even think the Democrats can disagree that she's not a great candidate. Listen, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a great lady with a great career. A second woman ever appointed to the Supreme Court. Her life was a phenomenal life, and I didn't agree with her politically, and I didn't agree with her decisions she's made, but I had a great deal of respect for her and what she accomplished in her life. And certainly we're all sad that she passed, but that's what happened. Now we have to fulfill that responsibility that this president was elected to fulfill. The Senate has to fulfill their responsibility.
As it happened with President Obama, a nomination during an election year, it should be stopped. We should wait until after the election is over. I mean, boy, President Trump moved with speed to make sure he get another Supreme Court on the nominee on the bench. I say we need to just stop right now. Let's just wait. Let's just stop fighting about it. There are so many more important issues than getting another Supreme Court nominee before the election. I mean, so much is happening. There's so many serious issues that we need to stop it right now. We need to wait until after the election. Unfortunately, with Ginsburg dying, Judge Ginsburg, that was unfortunately such an untimely time. Okay, she was a great fighter for the people. I think we need to wait until after the election to nominate the next Supreme Court justice. As simple as that. And it should not be along partisan lines. And as we see, it is. It's among partisan lines. Let's just wait because there's so many important issues. This pandemic is not over. In fact, it's brewing even more so. It's getting hotter in certain states. Let's just wait.
Stay with News 3, your local election headquarters on air and online. I'm John Dowding. Thank you for watching.